to Season 2, Episode 7 of the Dwyer Team Podcast. I can't believe that it's this far into the year already. It's almost, spring now, but it's almost summertime, which is fantastic. So thanks, everybody, for coming. Let's go around the room really quick. Of course, with us always is Chris. Chris, say hi.
Hello.
And Hannah. And Barbara.
Hi.
And, of course, you all know me. My name's Jerry. And we also have a new agent, a new add to our team. Liz is joining us today. Liz,
hello.
Sing a song for us real quick.
Oh, I might be bad at this.
Just kidding. We don't have time for that. All right.
Oh, no, please, I really couldn't.
Liz, last name?
Oh, Liz Cooke. Thank you, Hannah.
We need a proper introduction for our new team member.
of the team.
I'm sorry.
With an E.
Liz Cooke in the house.
So Liz decided to join our team. We're happy to have her. We think she'll be a great add and she'll be an asset to all of us. So that's we're excited about that. And we have a special guest with us today.
Our special guest is my friend and financial advisor extraordinaire, Lisa Conley, who works with Edward Jones. Lisa, tell us a little bit about what you do.
I will. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you.
So many friendly faces around the room. I thought this was going to be one-on-one.
Welcome to the pod.
So I help clients with investments to make it simple. But what I do is really listen to every one of my clients about what their financial goals are and build a plan around those goals so that they have a pathway to achieving them. One of the goals that I work on is buying a house. And so that's why I'm here today.
Thanks for joining us, Lisa. So we're going to jump right in. But before we do, we just want to tell everybody that Francis is on vacation and Francis is in Portugal. So when it comes time for Francis's favorite part of the podcast, which is trivia, I'm going to try to get her through my WhatsApp. So hopefully she'll be joining us for trivia.
Yeah, we can't miss her wrong answers. Those are fantastic. that was a good ad.
Okay, Lisa. First-time home buyers can feel pretty dejected these days about their ability to get into home ownership. What do you tell them?
I tell them that they should focus on what they can control, right? It's really easy to look at a great big mountain and say, I'm never going to get to the top of that hill. But if by focusing on what you can control and keeping it to the how much, what does my budget look like? How much can I put away? How long do I want to be planning for? All of those things that you can take action on gives you that incentive. And it's really pretty incredible if you put your mind to it, how much you can save.
And I think that's really important too with first-time buyers because there's so much doom and gloom out there that it's easy to not take that first step into what their goals are. It's easy to think it's just not achievable and give up, right?
Well, Hannah, sorry to interrupt. You said before we were having a conversation with first-time buyers and buyers in general, just saying, well, you don't know what you can and can't afford until you try.
Exactly.
So let's get the right information.
Yeah, and they say, the average age of a first-time home buyer now is 38. It's gone up. However, I've helped many first-time home buyers under that age buy. It does not mean they're non-existent. But it's funny how when you hear that stat and you hear what's going on in the news, you also think, okay, I'm out. I can't do it. But
all of the first-time home buyers I've helped in the last year are definitely below age 38.
Yeah.
I'm glad
it has a lot to do with mindset. So with that being said, I'll jump into the next question of what the first step is for those first-time buyers.
The first step is figuring out what is your goal. Right. And meeting with a realtor and figuring out what the market looks like, meeting with a mortgage broker to figure out what they need to do to meet certain income levels. So you have a plan. That's the first step to executing on the plan. And then once you say, OK, this is kind of what I want to spend. This is what I'm going to need to show in order to get a mortgage. The next step is a household spending plan. And I really think it's important to think of it as a spending plan rather than a budget, because it puts you back in the driver's seat. It lets you say, what is important to me? Eating out one time less a week gets you $100 more a month towards saving for your goal. When you get
that's significant.
When you get a bonus, right? It's really easy to say, I'm just going to, I deserve a little vacation. Well, what's more important to you, a little vacation or taking that $5,000 and putting it into your home ownership plan?
And then, just to reiterate on what Lisa is saying, it doesn't cost you anything to talk to a mortgage broker, a realtor, or to Lisa. You can approach all three with no money in your pocket and get some advice that's going to be valuable.
And put you on the right path.
Yes.
And I can speak, I can speak for us and how we work. We're a very no pressure team. And I think, and we're here when you're ready. I think some people get deterred as well because they think once they start talking to a mortgage broker, they have to commit to that. And then they have to commit to a pre-approval. And then they have, no. We are here to help guide you for when the time is right. There is no reason why you need to lock into anything right away. But having the conversations can really bring you towards your goals a lot quicker because you start getting in that mindset. You start knowing what you need to do to achieve what you want. And then you have a great team for when you're ready.
So then after what the first step is, what are some of the tools that first-time home buyers can use to save money in a tax-advantaged way?
So basically, the federal government, the CRA, gives you some pretty powerful tools to put money away, either tax deferred, tax free, or with the new FHSA, both. So the three kinds of accounts that I want to focus on are first-time homebuyer savings account. I call that an FHSA, and I apologize for my jargon already. The second is a TFSA, a tax-free savings account, and the third is an RSP, a registered retirement savings plan. And you can use each of those to put money away in a tax-advantaged way. So jumping in to the details, with a first-time home buyer's savings account or an FHSA, it's really amazing because you both get to write off your income and you get to grow the money tax-free. So it's kind of the best of an RSP and a TFSA put together in one. The second is a TFSA, and most people might be familiar with the TFSA because it's really easy to open one up at the bank and basically do nothing with it.
Yeah.
A tax-free savings account is an investment account that you can save for retirement, save for a home plan, save for your next vacation, right? There's a lot of things you can do with the TFSA, but the key with that, when you put the money in, it grows tax-free. And then the last one is an RSP. People usually think of RSPs as retirement plans, which they absolutely are, but there are a couple of ways to borrow from your retirement savings from yourself if you're going to buy a house, if you're going to go back to school, those kinds of things. And so it's a really powerful way of also saving for a house.
So can I just ask a question? If you're going to use one of these methods to help with your first house, can you use a little bit from each one? Or if you're going to use FHSA, use that, or just TFSA or just RSP? When I bought my house, I borrowed from my RSP.
Yeah. So when I work with my clients, we're looking at the big picture, right? And so there may be reasons to put it in the TFSA because you want to save for a house, but you may have to fix your car, right? So there are reasons to use a TFSA as a starting point for saving for your house. The FHSA is the most powerful tool, but you only get $8,000 a year, $40,000 total to put into that FHSA. So for most people, they're gonna fill that up pretty quickly, depending on how close they are to home ownership. So you all of them are very powerful tools. It's a matter of thinking about what your other goals are. And it's really nice to know if you put in the RSP and you don't use it for a house, it is there for your retirement.
I love that. Now, what about if you don't use a first home buyer account? what happens then, Lisa? What
Mhm.
can happen with that money?
Well, it's actually really awesome because you can put it into your RSP without having to have contribution room to do it. So let's just say you save $40,000 in your FHSA, you marry your rich spouse that already has a house and you don't need it anymore.
Right.
It can go over. Just flipped over into your RSP, and you don't need to have the contribution room to do that.
I did not know that.
$40,000.
That's great.
And
That is great.
and so for my clients that are in their 50s, I'm like, let's start an FHSA just for fun because it can expand their contribution rate.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's great
No,
information.
and that's why everybody should have a Lisa Conley in their pocket, because who knew, Lisa?
So
Who
listen, I
knew?
mean,
Wait.
just
I love
Can I
this.
just clarify? So it's first time?
First time. Yes.
So if you own a house, you cannot start one.
Correct.
Okay.
You have to be a first time home buyer. You're like, that sounds pretty good.
But that came
I
into
wanna do
fruition
that.
only a couple of years ago.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So it's not like you missed the memo on that one, Liz. It wasn't
No,
around.
no, I
Yeah.
do understand that, but I just
Yeah.
mean if I want to take advantage of the
Yeah.
extra RSP.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
What if you have a young person in your life, like a grandchild? Can you how early can you open an account?
Yeah. You have to be an adult
Okay.
to have an FHSA
So
or
the
a
person
TFSA.
themselves has to open it.
Mhm.
You can't open it for someone.
No.
Okay.
No. Though I do have a lot of clients who in their TFSA, they're building a nest egg in their own tax-free savings account for their grandchild for when they turn 18. Mm-hmm.
That's a good
Then you can
idea,
transfer
too.
it over when they open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then the RESP, when that's something different. from
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay,
Liz is throwing
so,
out
yeah,
all
sorry.
these new
Education.
things.
Sorry.
That's an education plan. So you can also do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
But that's
different
not
one.
to buy a house.
That'd be for their college or university.
Right.
But if they don't end up going to college or university, can you take a registered education savings plan and put it into an RRSP then?
Or an
Yes.
FHSA.
No.
good start.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
We're doing that
Yeah.
FAQ for our listeners.
We'll make sure you guys have somewhere in the post
Yeah.
Lisa's contact info for any questions that you may have.
It'll be in the episode description. So
Right.
as always.
Right.
So back to the main three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
If you'd like to elaborate a little bit more on what the contribution amounts are.
Sure. So, so FHSAs, you can put in $8,000 a year, $40,000 maximum. Now that, over 10 years can double in size, but the contributions are maxed at $40,000. One important fact that I want to make sure everybody knows: you don't start garnering contribution room until you open an FHSA. So a TFSA, once you turn 18, you start garnering. The CRA knows that you're growing your contribution room. With an FHSA, you don't start getting contribution room. So let's say 2026 is when I want to start saving for a house. Open an FHSA in 2025, because then you can put in for this year and next year.
Oh,
Mhm.
that
And just to
makes sense.
recap for everybody who's with us, FHSA, First Time Homebuyer Savings Account, TFSA, Tax-Free Savings Account, RRSP.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So again, in the FHSA, get the tax break, writing it off of your taxes, as well as growing tax free. The second one is tax-free savings account, where it grows tax-free. Everybody gets a certain amount every year after you turn 18. In 2025, the contribution addition was $7,000 per person. And the TFSAs are awesome because they're flexible, but they also suck because they're flexible, because you can put it in and take it out, and put it in and take it out. So one of the things I work with my clients is being committed to what the goals are, and making sure that we have different pockets for different purposes.
Mm.
And then the RSP, when you contribute to an RSP, you can borrow from yourself to buy a house. There's paperwork around that. But they recently increased the amount you can take out of your RSP to $60,000. Key for borrowing from yourself, though, the year after you purchased your house, you need to start paying yourself back at 1/15 per year, and you don't want to have that tax bill hit you, right? There needs to be a plan for repaying yourself. So in summary, right, between the FHSA, TFSA, RSP, if you could just max everything out and you're making $1 million, you could save $175,000 over 5 years. So that's a pretty
Wow.
significant down payment for a house.
And you don't have to. You don't get interest on that.
You don't pay interest.
You don't pay
mean?
interest as long as you stick with the payback schedule. Whatever your payback schedule
You're
is.
going back to the RSP.
Yeah.
So with the RSP, as long as you repay yourself the $115 per year, you don't pay interest to
No
yourself,
penalty.
and there's no penalty. If you miss a year, let's say you had a $2,000 payback, you didn't do that, your income goes up by $2,000, and you need to pay taxes on it. It's as if you took money out of your RSP.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like good news, but what's the catch?
As you pointed out, Liz, when you want to either use the first-time homebuyer savings account or take money out of your RSP, you must be a first-time homebuyer.
Mm-hmm.
That is defined as you have not owned a house for this year or the prior 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
There are some attractive loopholes if you get divorced, right? So when it comes to RSPs, but not getting into those details. And also, if you are living with a spouse that owns a house, you are not a first-time home buyer. So, it's one of those things that there are rules around it because they don't want people taking advantage.
Is
Right?
there any leniency if you're common law versus actually? I guess it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
No, it's all-
And so if you do get out of the market and you're trying to get back in and it's been longer than 4 years, you technically
You are a
qualify
first-time home buyer.
first-time home buyer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a client that in 2019, she took a nice profit on the house and literally moved to Costa Rica. And now we're 4 years down the line and it's just like time to get back in.
And I'm telling you,
Yeah. So the other issue with all of this, kind of talking about the benefits of saving this way and saving that way, you actually have to have the funds to put away. And so going back to one of the first points we talked about, actually deciding this is important to me, this is a priority, this is, maybe I spend another year living at home rather than renting in order to put that money away. One thing that's awesome about the FHSAs that my clients have benefited from is because it's called a first-time homebuyer savings account and it's actually earmarked for savings, people are a little bit more willing to give you some money to put in that account to help you on your path to home buyers, rather than just saying, here's $10,000, figure out what to do with it, right?
Right, yeah.
There's a plan.
Yep, there's a plan. Exactly.
So can I ask, what are some common first-time home buyers make on the financial side? Mistakes, like things that they thought was a good idea or they didn't know of that they should have done it a different way. Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, and this goes back to making sure you're talking to your mortgage broker, making sure you're talking to the real estate agent about this is my plan, talking to your financial advisor about this is my plan, because the biggest problem is overreach, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you have a certain idea in your head about what your first time home is going to look like, and you borrow too much, you spend too much, you don't have the assets because you might have mortgage payments that are too high relative to your income. You don't take into account that repayment of the home buyers program. And when you move into a house, you got to buy a couch. You got to renovate the bedroom, right? Those things really add up. And so if you put every last penny into your down payment, sometimes you can get into a problem because there are other expenses that come with home ownership.
And just a real estate tip there too. Before you close on your house, do not go buy that couch.
Yeah.
Don't change your spending history until you close. That's right.
Yeah.
Good point out here.
There's one more mistake that home buyers often make, and this is both all of these mistakes don't just apply to first-time home buyers. A lot of people overreach with their second or third home too. But mortgage insurance is something that is really easy to when they put the piece of paper in front of you. Oh, that makes sense. If I die, then my mortgage is paid off. But there are better products than you paying to insure the bank. And so I'm not going to go into all of the details, but definitely get educated about mortgage insurance. If you have your own life insurance policy for $400,000, your beneficiaries get to decide what to do with that $400,000. If you have mortgage insurance for $400,000, number one, it starts at 400 and goes down from there.
Correct.
Your payment stays the same, but also it goes to the bank. It does not go to your beneficiaries.
It's a great point.
Yeah, very good point.
Okay. So do you recommend a 20% down payment when people are buying?
I stay away from making those kinds of recommendations. That's really outside of my my area. There's a really good argument to be made that the larger the down payment you have, even 25%, that means a smaller mortgage, less interest, less kind of lower payments and all of that
Sure.
kind of thing. But you still should have an emergency fund. You still have other financial goals. And so making sure that we balance I was a first-time home buyer, I can put 5% down or whatever, whatever special programs that exist. You have to think about the different potential benefits and costs of making that choice.
Okay.
And I think that's actually a big thing too, especially for first-time home buyers. It's hard to have that 20% down for prices, and a lot of people think they have to have 20% down is a lot of the conversations I'm having when you don't. You only need to have 5%. And sometimes it's better to get into something earlier rather than also saving when you can't keep up with the market.
If we should
Have something as a stepping
Yeah,
stone.
but I think with CMHC, what I've been told from mortgage brokers too, is that if you're close, if we're close, then we'll be doing, even if you're at 15%, then it might be worth saving for that 20%. But if you have the down payment now, you can get into the market. That might be the right choice.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. What's important for that buyers at 5%, as you mentioned, these are people want me to buy furniture. They may want to have a pizza on Friday night. You want to be completely house poor. So maybe 5% is more somebody's steam instead of putting down 20%.
And it could be a difference of getting into the market 5 years earlier.
Very true.
Yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move away from people that are first-time buyers to those who already have a home. Can people leverage home equity to grow their portfolio?
Absolutely, they can. And I think that when you're asking me that question, you're thinking about an investment portfolio. But you see it all the time in real estate, right? You take out some equity in your house to buy the rental or buy the cottage, that kind of thing. And so that's something that's very often done in real estate. And it's a pretty unique situation because of the concept of leverage and the down payment that we just talked about, that you can buy a $500,000 house with not, you don't have to spend $500,000 on a $500,000 house, right? Whereas if you're going to buy $10,000 of Microsoft, you have to pay $10,000, right? So what I say when people come to me with the idea, there may be very specific situations in which, to make an RSP contribution or something like that, there might be advantageous special situations, but there's too much volatility in the market to really take it, to take money out of your house and put it into the market. Is my opinion.
Okay. So how should someone balance saving for retirement while also paying off a mortgage?
So a lot of my clients are super conservative, and they are throwing money at their mortgage any chance that they get. But if you just look at the numbers, if we expect a 6.5% or more return on your investments, and making them tax advantage even increases that rate, and you're paying 4.5% on the mortgage, just from a dollars and cents perspective, it makes economic sense to make sure you're saving for retirement at the same time as making the minimum payments. But what we saw in 2021, when interest rates went through the roof, is that people have refinancing risk. And so that is the refinancing risk, that all of a sudden their payment can go from $1,500 to $2,500 a month, right? That refinancing risk puts a little bit more kind of the finger on the scale toward toward putting more money away. So there's no right answer. And that's something else that I work with my clients to really understand how they feel about being secure about this area of their life, paying off the mortgage, versus feeling secure about that area of life, which is retirement, or feeling secure about the third area of life is they want to make sure their kids are going to school and getting the education that everybody wants them to have. So there's no right answer, and that's one of my jobs is figuring out what's the most important thing to my client.
And every client will be a little bit different, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It has different scenarios, and I'm very curious about that too, because for people who have stayed in one home their whole life are going to be a very different situation than people who have moved 8 or 9 times when trying to save to retirement now. Because and if you've taken money out of your home through the equity that you've gotten, then it does change your retirement plans a little bit. But that's why it's great to have someone like Lisa to talk to.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, it can be a overwhelming path. I think without having guidance, people just think, why, they stop before they even start. They're just concerned that they're making the wrong decision, or concerned their decisions will be scrutinized. But it's always better to get clarity on that, so they know that the decision they made is right. If it's not right, let's fix it. It can be fixed.
And it's easier to put your head in the sand and pretend like you don't need to acknowledge any of this. The next thing you know, you're in retirement.
Yeah. It should be
Brings up
part of
quick.
the educational curriculum, like financial
You'd think
literacy
so.
at a young
You'd think
age
so, but
would be so good to learn, because then you can start building earlier. Like it'll be in your mindset to start building earlier.
Finances are one of those things where you feel kind of nervous about when you don't have the education. So reaching out for that education sometimes feels like more of a
That's what I mean.
harder
Like if it was
mountain
in
to
our
climb, right?
education system right now,
Mhm.
like if the kids even just in high school start at grade 9 and put a little financial literacy bit in whatever course, like it would just it would make such a huge difference for people going forward.
Well, and I think the most important thing to remember is it doesn't cost you anything to talk to Lisa as a financial advisor for financial advice. You don't have to pay her up front, but she'll help you grow.
Yeah.
And
Your
Lisa
money.
has probably seen every scenario possible.
That is true. That is
And
true.
some people are embarrassed, like they don't think they want to, but that's like, we're a no judgment team. We're here for you. We've all been through it ourselves. I'm sure we have our stories. Lisa would be a great customer for you. But, sometimes just knowing that you have someone that you can call and be like, and that's what we are too as a team, as a real estate team. We're a connector of people. That's why, we're grateful to have known you and have when people reach out and say, I need to talk to a financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. I'll hear you out. You can vent to me all you want, but
in the right direction. That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know who is in the right direction in trivia is
my
Barbara.
Are you winning?
Yeah.
We didn't-
Oh.
We didn't have a break today because we had such good content. But
We flew through it.
yeah.
So, quick recap on the points. Hannah, Jerry, Francis all tied at 8. Barb with 11 in the
Whoa.
lead.
Told ya.
Liz,
That's not a lot,
new to
Barbara.
the team, has some work
I have some catching up to do. Story of
And
my
in terms of guests, we've had Vanessa Bell Holmes, who unfortunately did not have any points. Gary Brown from Kembro Design Studio had 2. He was flawless in his episodes. We'll see how Lisa does.
Pressure.
I'm going to see if I can get hold of Francis.
Yeah.
If you want, I can call her after.
You want me to call her now? You want me to call her?
Oh, is it the light?
All right, call her up. Call her up live on the pod.
Live from London. That's Keller Williams.
So Barry and Barb,
Yeah.
which one of you got into real estate first?
I love to say me, but it's not. I've been doing it about 19 years now,
Hey,
and
Francis.
Barbara's been doing it about 30.
Mm-hmm.
So a
I
little bit
can't
longer than
hear
me.
you very well.
It's not on speaker.
It's not
Speaker.
on speaker.
Oh, it's not because you're not on speaker. There you
Hi,
go.
Francis.
There we go. Francis
Francis.
joins us
Francis.
from the moon.
Francis, we have Lisa Conley from Edward Jones as a guest today.
Hi, Francis.
Oh, I'd like to hunt that
Yeah.
hard.
You'll have to listen to
You
the
will.
podcast.
Good thing we recorded it.
I hope we recorded it.
Oh, the camera wasn't on.
So Francis, we're going to get
You.
into Trivia. So get your pencil and paper and no cheating.
Yeah.
She's cheating.
All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Let me just put you a bit closer to the microphone. All right.
Come on, don't forget I'm far away and it's 6 o'clock here. So
You're full of excuses. We love it. Move right on.
Okay, first question is Realty Bites is a 1997 episode featuring a fictional real estate agent named Lionel Hutz from Red Blazer Realty on what TV series?
I know the name.
Can you repeat
Say it
that,
again. I
Chris?
know his name.
Realty Bites is a 1997 episode featuring a fictional real estate agent named Lionel Hutz from Red Blazer Realty on what TV series?
I also know his partner too.
I was gonna say.
I know that.
I think I know his partner. Okay, I got it. I got this.
I don't. I hate these.
Say it one more time.
One more time?
No, I don't.
What's the point? She.
Yeah. I
Is
won't.
it a TV
I
show?
don't- I can-
What TV series?
What
Was
TV
he on?
series?
Was he on? Was he on?
New Jersey.
No. Oh, okay. I can't forget it.
All right, good one.
Okay.
Okay, moving right along.
I'm
Moving
gonna
on.
jump to the next question here.
Well,
Ed Sheeran is a popular pop singer who has a song named Lego House. What album is that song from? A, the minus symbol, B, the plus symbol, C, the multiplication symbol, or D, the I can't say it.
Division?
Division symbol. Thank you.
Yeah, I
So
love
the
so
album
many.
is
I'm
one of
actually
those
a
The
little.
four.
album is one of those four.
And repeat those four again, please, Chris.
Minus
minus,
symbol,
divide,
plus, minus, divide,
Times.
times.
You know, help Lisa.
Minus plus X divide.
Type faster,
Come on,
Francis.
Barbara. You don't know that.
Lego House.
Divide. I know which album. I'm just trying to. It's because they're so similar. Okay. I know the color of the album.
I was really happy now.
I would be part of it.
Yeah.
She's glad we called.
All right, first question. What TV series?
Francis has to answer first.
Yeah, you can't say
Got
it's right until
nothing,
everybody
nothing.
says.
So
She
Francis
didn't
is-
get either one of
Melissa
them.
does a hard
No.
zero to her ad. She's got nothing.
Yep, nothing.
Nothing for Francis.
You got
But we're
nothing,
glad you
Francis?
joined us.
I don't know. I can't even think of a TV show in the 90s. I didn't watch TV then. I was studying for real estate.
I don't know. What do you have?
Chris, the first one?
Yeah.
The Simpsons.
Barb?
I got the Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Simpsons and his backup.
Watch
His
that.
backup, Lionel Hutz's team member was Cookie Kwan
Oh, he should
from
get a
Red
bonus
Blazer
point.
Realty.
From the north side.
Liz,
or
what did you
something.
ever know?
I got
on the west side.
On the west side.
I had no idea.
No
I didn't
idea.
watch
Cookie Kwan.
Cookie Kwan.
I didn't watch The Simpsons. You
Okay,
get a bonus
Lisa,
point.
what'd you
It
put?
was The
I didn't.
Simpsons.
I'm
It
a
was
guess.
The Simpsons.
I just knew the last name.
Lionel
Where have I
Hutz.
heard that name before?
And you know what? I will give Jerry an extra
He
point.
should get a bonus
Yes,
point.
you will.
Okay, Ed Sheeran, Lego House. What album is that from? Starting with Francis.
B.
B.
Letter. Yeah, you gave A. This.
The
B,
plus
this,
symbol. Okay, Hannah. She said B.
He gave multiple
Oh, you
choice.
said give multiple choice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, the
Well,
plus.
I did. A, B, C,
Pardon?
D.
I did
yes.
divide.
Jerry.
too. I did divide.
Minus.
It's the
I
first
had
one,
multiplication.
It was the plus symbol.
which is the very
Yeah.
first Ed Sheeran album.
So
Good
that
job.
was
I got nothing.
He got more complicated as
that
a
was
Francis, you and I are tied.
Hannah
I got nothing.
Francis.
So I'm going to be with Vanessa, 0 for my
That was
guest starring appearance.
not
good start, Lisa.
I like these questions. Sometimes they're on a
Okay,
whole different
Francis,
level.
we can't wait till you're back.
Yeah, we can. I'm not coming back. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, you're still beating Liz at least.
Yeah.
Am I winning now?
We got Hannah with 10, Jerry with 10, Francis with 9, Barb
Barb is
with
still
11.
winning.
I'm still winning, Francis.
Winner,
Oh.
winner.
I'm still winning.
Barb could open an RRSP with all these points.
He's setting up an appointment with Lisa.
Squirrel from Barb's point.
I just by one.
RSPs are very flexible. Points may not be an allowed.
I'll call you later.
I could be wrong. I'll
Goodbye.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Hey,
We're still
we're
live.
live.
That's live here. You're gonna start talking about information?
Thanks for
Okay,
calling
then.
in, Francis.
Leave it in, Chris.
I'm leaving it in.
Okay, just want to thank everybody for listening to today's episode. We hope you like the trivia questions. Of course, we're going to put the contact information for Lisa if you have any more questions, and please feel free to contact us at the Dwyer team, any one of us, and we'll make sure to connect you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
It was
it
a
was very
pleasure.
nice to meet you.
This is my first podcast. How fun.
Amazing. And then we're back with Liz Cooke's debut. Welcome to the Dwyer team.
With 0 points for trivia.
That's okay. He'll get there. We're gonna do an extravaganza.
Let's do
There'll
an
be tons
easy
of points
questions
around.
next week for
I know.
new people.
All right, take us out.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining. So as always, feel free to visit the website. We'll have everything's posted there. All of the information's there. DwyerTeam.com.
Yeah, and you can always message us from the website too with any suggestions,
Good one.
feedback.
Yep.
Don't
One stop
forget,
shop.
we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Good shout out. Anything, any topics you guys would like us to discuss, feel free to email any one of us at any point. We'll add it in. Any questions on anything that you'd like us to talk about, reach out anytime.
And you can do so right from the website as well. Even just sending an inquiry, it will go straight to our team email. Perfect. Awesome.
Booyah.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Till
Have a
next
great
time.